Welcome to Short Answer, a segment where I take questions that I receive in my inboxes regarding dog training woes, and I basically give the short answer. Obviously, things are a little more complicated, but really generally speaking, a lot of the dog training problems that people have can be boiled down to a short answer, and it's up to basically repetition and consistency to actually affect change. So the question I have in my inbox today that I'm going to be answering comes from Renee, and she says, hello Cody, my boy is a pretty awesome dog, except for the fact that he is very food driven and he's very moochy, and he's always under my feet in the kitchen while I'm preparing food. She goes on to say that he is crate trained. They got him when he was about a year old, and now he's 8 years old. He gets his dog treats in the kitchen. His food bowls are also in the kitchen, and he'll get the odd piece of human food scrap in the bowl. She goes on to say, my daughter, on the other hand, will give him scraps straight from her plate at the table, despite me telling her not to. Having said that, I'm guilty of sharing human snacks with them, so if I'm eating a bag of chips, for example, while watching a movie, I'll give him the odd one here and there. He is that dog that no matter what and how quiet you are, or you're thinking you're being while opening up a chip bag, or any other package that contains food, he will hear it while sleeping in another room and come to you. Okay, great. Well, thank you so much for writing in, Renee. And first things first, when addressing an issue like that, is everybody in your family absolutely has to be on the same page as far as not feeding the dog any more human food. It's just one of those things where if one person in the family is giving human food, or you're giving your dog human food every now and then, there's pretty much no chance that we're going to stop this, the behavior that you want, which is being moochy at your feet while you're cooking. So first things first, get your daughter on board. She's no longer allowed to feed the dog any more food. And what that does basically, say you give your dog only, like 9 times out of 10, you don't give your dog a piece of food from the table, or a piece of human food, while you're watching TV. 9 times out of 10 you don't do that. The one time the dog will get that snack or the human food basically creates a lottery system in your dog's head where it goes, every now and then I will actually get a piece of human food, so I have to keep going to the human because this might be the chance. So basically every now and then having the human food basically just will make sure that you never actually get beyond this problem. Now, to actually stop the behavior from happening, you said your dog is 8 years old. Now that's the dog's getting up there. It's harder to create new behaviors with an older dog at that age, but and I don't know where your obedience is at with that dog, but there are some things you can do. Since he said he is crate trained, what I would do is, while you're in the kitchen cooking food, if you cannot actually use obedience to change the dog's behavior, then I would say have him in his crate while you're cooking. The more he rehearses a bad behavior, the more likely he is just to keep doing it. So until you've built up the obedience to the point where you can have him out of the crate and not be at your feet, you should start by managing his behavior by just actually having him away. And while you're cooking your food, maybe feed him his food in his crate, so he knows, like, oh hey, when mom is gearing up to make food, like, I'll go to my crate and I'll get my food. It's just like it's an easy way to create an association for him. Now, that being said, obedience is the key, right? It's what really saves people from most of the problem behaviors that they have. So what I would say is, I assume your dog has like a dog bed or something similar to that. So what I would do is, if you want to start training your dog, have a dog bed just outside of the kitchen, and then while you're cooking food, you have the dog in a down state, like you have him laying on the bed and you told him to stay, and he's going to hold that position, and then you're going to go cook, and then before he gets up, while he's still lying down, you want to go over to the dog, and you want to treat him while he's like in a nice down stable position and not at your feet. And so that way he'll again start to build an association and be able to hold positions longer while you're making food, so he's not running around your feet. So basically you put him in a command so he's not bugging you. I might actually just show you what that looks like. Sorry man, this is kind of a little bit of a mess. Okay, we'll just go over here. Excuse the leaf on the ground. Impromptu. Okay. So let's pretend that this dog bed here is your dog's dog bed, and let's pretend that the guitar is your kitchen, for instance, or your sink, or wherever you're chopping vegetables, I don't care. So what you would want to do is you would want to take your boy, we'll just take my dog, I guess. Place. Good. Lay down. Good. And some people like to say stay. I mean, most people I feel like have that command. So you tell your dog to stay, and keep in mind you want to build up duration for something like this. So you go over to the kitchen, you're chopping vegetables. You might do it for, a minute, depending on how long your dog can hold positions. A minute's up, you go over and you go, good. And then the dog knows, oh, I just got rewarded for holding that position. And then you go right back to the kitchen, you chop your vegetables, whatever you want to do. And then after a minute and a half, 2 minutes, you get the idea. You just keep building up. And then eventually your dog knows, like, oh, as long as I'm on the bed and I'm in a down position, I can be rewarded for basically leaving you alone. Now, since your dog is a little bit older and he might be having a hard time with just like building new behaviors through like positive reward based training, like if your dog gets up, you need to go back and go no, and put it right back on the bed. So your dog gets to exist in both paradigms where I'm being rewarded for the good thing, but also I am being corrected for the wrong thing. And that'll help your dog start to build the new behavior much faster. So remember, everybody in the family needs to stop feeding the dog food. The dog, if you cannot work on if your obedience isn't at this level yet for your dog, good. If your dog is not at this level yet of obedience, then you need to maybe put your dog in a crate while you're cooking. And then in the meantime, be working on this, place command or bed command until your dog is at a functional level where you can now basically bring it into the kitchen or real life. Good. Anyways, that was the short answer, of course. And if you have any more questions, just send them on through. Thank you so much, everybody, for watching. And if anybody else has any more questions, come on by and into my inboxes and send me basically whatever you want. Of course, I'm not going to be giving you huge, comprehensive answers to everything, but I will give you the quick answer and the short answer, rather, and it'll give you enough to kind of understand what you're dealing with. Anyways, thanks.